Hello, welcome to the grounds crew. My name is Alex.
My name is Alexander.
And this is Paul.
Today we're going to be talking about our free agent predictions for the top outfielders in baseball. Starting off with Juan Soto, who we already talked about his contract and how much we thought he would get from free agency, but we never really talked about what teams do we think he's actually going to go to. So, Paul, I'm going to start off with you. So far we know that the teams that have interested in Soto are the Yankees, the Mets, Dodgers, Blue Jays, Red Sox, and Giants. And also the Rays, which I thought was surprising. I didn't think they would be in this conversation. But where do you think Juan Soto is going to go? Where do you see him going?
Out of those teams, I definitely think the Yankees need to keep him. I could see him going to the other side of town, going to the Mets. The Dodgers would be stellar if they took him. I cannot imagine the rest of those teams, Blue Jays, Red Sox, maybe the Giants, and the Rays. Being an Orioles fan, I'm just disappointed that the AL East has every team mentioned there except for them. But I have to say, Yankees, Mets, Dodgers would be my pick of the ones that are mentioned there.
He's Mets Dodgers. So say he leaves Yankees. You have a team that the Mets and the Dodgers that you think he would go to. Side of those two.
Well, I was talking with your dad last night, and I think what it comes down to is he has to decide if he wants to be a second fiddle or if he wants to be the actual person that a team wraps around him. In times past, when a team tried to wrap around him, it didn't go too good. So he does good at second fiddle, which sounds weird, but he really does. He is very good at being a build up a team that already has somebody good, even better than him to a point. So because of that, I have to say Dodgers because you already have Otani there. And the reason why I like the Dodgers is because I really think Otani needs to focus on the pitching. Not that he's not a great batter, he's a great batter, but he's also a great pitcher. And I know he got hurt and he's having that surgery, and hopefully that doesn't affect his pitching. But I really think he's going to have to figure out as he ages, is he going to be a batter? Is he going to be a pitcher? Because you're not going to be able to do that forever. And that's one of those things as he ages, he's going to have to figure out which one am I doing better at. And so I think for the Dodgers, for the long term, Soto would fit there very, very well. It's also another big stage. Leaving New York and going to the Dodgers, it would be like a lateral move as far as dealing with the big stage of a city and popularity and all that stuff.
I think that's a good point. I did want to mention real quick as I was looking into these teams, I saw a report back when Freddie Freeman was free agent. The Rays actually were in that conversation as well. They offered more apparently than the Dodgers did. Freddie
That's one
Freeman.
of the things I
That kind
did
of
not.
surprised me.
That's one of the things I did not look up as to which of these teams would have the most money for him, and I'm not sure
Hmm.
about that. That's part of this that I would not know off the top of my head is which team would offer him the best deal. Because if he's going to follow the money, then I don't know which team would be the best for him. But if he's going to follow what might make some logical sense in the way that he plays, I would say the Yankees and Dodgers would make the most sense for him.
Ladies, what do you think? Your
Okay.
thoughts?
Well, on Otani, first, I know we're not talking Otani for agency, but as far as fit, with Otani being a cyborg and being able to do both at a top three, top five level, Dodgers paid him for the next 10 plus years, whatever, to be both players. So I don't think he's going to focus as much on hitting. I mean, on the pitching this coming year because they're going to be easing him back in from his injury. So you're going to see him do a lot of hitting. Will Soto fit in with that group? Look, Soto just went to San Diego and spent time with a very good team in San Diego, and it didn't work. He did very well as being that number one guy on the team when he was with the Nationals for that 1 year where they won a World Series. Where does he go? Where does Soto go? 7 teams are in there, and actually 8 when you do it the list you just mentioned. Tampa Bay Rays. I mean, he would make more than the entire team. I don't think that that's really. I mean, I know they're trying to replace and move on from Wander Franco, and I just don't see them spending that kind of money on one guy when the rest of the team doesn't even make that much for what he's going to command. Red Sox would be a fantastic fit for him, but I mean, the way that stadium is, he would crush that stadium. That would be a really great fit for him. And it's on the East Coast. I really think he wants to play over on this side, but I'm not positive about that. But I know he wants to play for a team that's contending, and the Red Sox are not contending right now. They got some good pieces, but they don't have enough pieces. For the amount of money you don't usually see Red Sox go in for a $500 million contract somewhere, or a $300 million contract for that argument there. But if they were able to work something out, I think that would be a viable place. Blue Jays are going to spend a lot of money. They're going to go after him. I just don't see him going there for. I don't know. I just don't see that happening. I don't know why, but maybe he would. The Giants, again, I think he wants to stay out of California. I think he wants to move up past what happened in San Diego. I don't think he wants to go there. The Dodgers are going to spend a ton of money, offer him a ton of money. And that would just make the whole league almost an unfair advantage at this point, which it already is, but it would kind of make it unfair. Maybe he goes to the Dodgers. I'm still leaning towards the Yankees as being the viable option for him because they got a preview for a year to see what he was like, to see if he can handle New York, and he handled it spectacularly, and I think they throw a lot of money at him. Last team I'd like to mention there is the Mets. He's looking to spend money, and I don't see he's not going to let him go to stay with the Yankees. The Mets are going to offer Soto probably more than any of these other teams that we're talking about. They're going to offer the most money, and if someone says, "Oh, well, we'll give you this," we'll give you $50 million more. I could see that happening. So I would narrow it down to Mets and Yankees. Dodgers being third as far as those top three, and I think he ultimately re-signs with the Yankees. That's my gut feeling on it. But I could see him going to the Dodgers and the Mets because of how much money they offer him. But we'll see. Those are my top three predictions. Yankees first.
Just to go back to the Red Sox for a second, I would love that. I would love Juan Soto in Fenway Park. I just keep thinking back to Mookie Betts. We had Mookie Betts. The Red Sox had Mookie Betts.
That's right.
And you know what they did with Mookie Betts? It handed him to the Dodgers. Let's take David Price's contract off of their books. Do you take David Price, this big contract, if you give us Mookie Betts? And the Red Sox did that. So I think the Red Sox are not going to spend the money on it. I would love them to. Love them to. I don't think they're going to spend the money on it. Again, I think it goes for Soto's destination. I think it goes right back to what Paul was saying. Is he going to chase championships, or is he going to chase the money?
Right.
He's looking to win. I see him staying on the East Coast. I see him staying in New York. He's looking to win. He stays a Yankee. He's chasing the money. I think Steve Cohen gives him a blank check.
Yeah, great.
So I think, I don't know, really depends on what his interests are. I think he stays a New York Yankee.
I think he'll play better in New York in Yankee Stadium than he will, where the Mets are playing. I agree, though. It's going to be tough because Steve Cohen is ready to pay almost anything to get him.
So I say Yankees. Paul, final word.
I'll go Dodgers just to be different.
you kind of laid that out as well.
So we're Yankees, Dodgers, Yankees.
I guess so. Yeah.
Alrighty. So we have a majority.
I'm surprised you're not saying Mets, Al. Steve Cohen.
He wants to win more than he wants the check.
Yeah. Because what's $550 million to $500 million if you're not playing for something?
I do think the Mets made the playoffs this year.
I know.
You just convinced me. I think he's going to the Mets now. Just convinced me. I'm staying with the Yankees.
Okay.
Staying with the Yankees.
All right. So, who are we talking about next?
The next on the list is Paul's guy, Anthony Santander.
Okay.
Basically, all the teams that are rumored for Soto are also rumored for Santander, plus the Orioles. It's from the research I did. That's what I saw. So Santander did receive a qualifying offer from Baltimore. And MLB.com said the potential fits were Blue Jays, Guardians, and Phillies. Now, for those teams, I think one of them is listed to be interested in Santander, and that's the Blue Jays. So, Paul, this is your guy. He's on your team, or at least was on your team. What do you think? What do you think is going to happen with him?
I do think he's moving on. I don't think he'll stay in Oriole. I wouldn't mind him and Hernandez flipping. I would take Hernandez from the Dodgers. That would be fine. That would be the same position, and that even gives my answer for the next person we're probably going to talk about. So I'm serious about that. I really do think that those two flipping would be fine with me. There was a time I would have said he was going to be the leader in our team, and I think he sort of dropped the ball there, and I don't know why. I'm not sure why. He's old enough to do it. We have a young team. We need a leader, and he didn't take it. So he hasn't been everything I thought he was going to be in the dugout. He hasn't been everything I thought he was going to be at the plate. And so this year I'm talking about. So yeah, I don't have a problem with him moving on. I'm glad they did give him an offer. I don't have a problem with that. He did definitely have some home runs this year, which is fine. Orioles like their long ball.
44.
Yeah, I'm not big on long ball playing. I don't like that, but those like to play that way. That's fine. But that's not, to me, that's not the way you want to go for long term playing. But would he do well in some of these other teams that are mentioned here? Absolutely. I could see him if he wants to follow some money at this point. Yes, a lot of these teams would be able to give him some good money, better than Baltimore will. So I do not think he'll stay at Baltimore. Which team do I think will end up at? That is tough. If he doesn't go with Dodgers with my little flip flop that I'm thinking for, if he wants to stay in the division, Blue Jays, I would think over the Red Sox. If he wants to be at a team that has some potential and MLB is correct, then I would go with the Phillies for him. So that would be my two picks, would be the Blue Jays and the Phillies.
Ready? Sir, what do you think?
Well, I mean, the Blue Jays are going to offer him a pretty decent contract to come up there. Man, I'd love to see him stay in Baltimore, though. But because, like Paul just said, I mean, he kind of, even though he didn't assume the leadership role there, he could. And I could see him leading this young group of guys, and that would be a really nice place for him to stay. But, I mean, he's testing free agency, and I don't know that he's going to command too much money for what Baltimore is going to be able to pay. I mean, Cleveland is in the mix, but, I mean, they did a good job in the playoffs this year. They could probably use that extra bat. I mean, 44 home runs, 102 RBIs. I'm gonna say it's probably gonna go to Cleveland. That's my opinion.
Like Cleveland, huh?
Yeah, I think he would fit well in their lineup. But then again, I mean, depending on where, this is all going to really matter on where Juan Soto winds up and the Soto sweepstakes, because once Soto's off the table, everyone's going to be looking to bolster with another big bat, and he's got a big bat. So
That brings
Right.
up a good
Soto's going to be the
question.
first to fall.
That's what I was going to ask. Is it all going to wait until Soto makes the choice, and then after that, it falls into play like Lego?
like
I say for the most part, yes. I think maybe um, some of the guys we haven't talked about yet will go first, but I think at least before Santander signs, Soto is going to have to sign because the same teams are interested in both of them. So whoever doesn't get Soto will be in on Santander or Santander. My bad. So I agree with you, Paul. I don't think he's returning to Baltimore. I think if Soto leaves New York, or at least the Yankees, I think he goes to the Yankees. I think he's the Soto replacement, if you will, if he leaves.
Wow.
wow.
Then if Soto stays, I think he goes either to the Mets or to the Blue Jays. I think he stays. I thought with Soto stay in the East, I think Santander stays in the East as well. Yeah, I think Cohen loses out on Soto. He's going to overpay for Santander.
Agreed.
I think he's going to give him an offer he can't refuse. I think Anthony Santander next season will be a New York Met.
Wow. Okay.
We have Mets, and Paul, you said Blue Jays, right? And you said Phillies.
Cleveland.
Cleveland, that's right. Cleveland.
Philly. I'm sorry, I said.
But
Philly.
I could definitely see that Mets scenario playing out as well.
Righty. So the next guy we have here is Teoscar Hernandez, who just won the World Series with the Dodgers. was able to find 3 teams that were interested in him. Research, it's the Dodgers, Baltimore, and Boston are interested in this guy. Well, you're losing Santander, it seems like, so your thoughts?
Well, like I said, if the flip flop doesn't happen, the flip flop I would like is Santander to go out there and Hernandez to come to us. I like that flop. I think it will happen personally. I like how he was in the postseason. He's only 2 years older than Santander, but sometimes those 2 years, particularly with the Dodgers, because they've been postseason more than the Orioles have in his career. So I really hope that that will help to give some of that because that's what they need right now. The Orioles need some seasoned people that have had some stability and longer in the season. And what I mean by that is postseason. And so that's what they need because they're doing fine during the season, but then they start to choke as soon as the postseason comes. And so we need some people that really understand what postseason playing is like. And he's one of those guys that fits that. He also has a great bat, and the Orioles like bats, and so I really think he's a great fit for them. I do not. Let me see something. I wanted to see, and I should have checked this ahead of time. Forgive me. I wanted to see what his batting average was compared to Anthony. Oh, he's actually better. Okay, yeah, he's a
Yeah,
better.
Santander had a 235 batting average, and Teoscar had a 272.
Yeah, and that was with one less game played. So, wow. Okay. He doesn't hit as many home runs, but you bring him to Camden Yards, he'll hit more. So I really think that will
But
be
you're not
part
the
of it.
home run guy.
Yeah. There you go. Well, on top of that, but you bring him to the East Coast, he'll hit more because I mean, let's face it, Red Sox Stadium, Yankee Stadium, and Camden Yards, just those three alone, and bang, you've got yourself some more home runs. So I really think that I like Hernandez coming to Baltimore. That would be my pick for him.
What do you think?
Well, it's hard to think that what he just brought to LA would go for naught. Like, why wouldn't LA want to keep a guy that just did what he did? He flies under the radar, and you think that you all right, you got past a couple big sluggers, and hey, you throw a fastball, try and get a fastball by the next hitter, Teoscar Hernandez, and he parks it in the bleachers. So I think that the Dodgers are going to try to keep him. But what's interesting too is, see, he had offers for 2 year, several offers for 2 year contracts that he turned down just to sign a 1 year deal to see what it was like to go play with the Dodgers with Ohtani and all them, and now he's won a World Series with them. So, I think that it was a brilliant move because now it's put him in a position to sign a multi-year deal with somebody after they saw what he's capable of. I mean, he's been a good hitter for a while. Again, the Red Sox are interested in him. Is that something that I mean, he would do great there, but I kind of think the Dodgers are going to try to keep him.
And what I Hernandez wants to return to LA as well.
Yeah.
I think Oscar is going to stay a Dodger. I don't think they're going to let him go anywhere.
You think he signs more than 2 years?
He tops. I mean, he's 32. I don't think he'll sign more than a 3-year deal.
I guess depending on what else is out there, right? If the Red Sox say, "Hey, we really want you over here," we'll sign you to a 4 year deal. Then maybe he walks from a 2 year deal, and
Maybe, but the next guy we're going to talk about is, I think, the Red Sox are going to go after heavily. So play the same position, so they don't really have an opening if they sign the next guy. So
okay,
that's why I don't think Teoscar's going to Boston.
okay. What about the Braves? The Braves have showed interest.
Braves, I think he stays a Dodger. I mean, I like the Braves, especially with Acuna coming back.
Yeah.
Our listeners actually messaged me and was like, "Hey, you guys talk about Acuna coming back and how the Braves will be with him back." So I guess I'll just answer that real quick. I think they're back to a playoff team once he comes back.
I
Oh,
agree.
definitely. One of the
I
best
agree.
one of the best players in the game. It's kind of terrible to have a season without Acuna in it. So
Yeah,
guy
exactly.
has to stay healthy.
We all want him to be healthy. The baseball's better with him healthy, and so are the
Absolutely.
Braves.
A
Yeah, exactly.
lot.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be.
If they want to add support to Acuna, Teoscar may be a good fit there too.
I agree with that, but I think the Dodgers just won the World Series, and I think they're going to want to win more. Teoscar was a big part of that this year, so I think Teoscar stays in LA.
Yeah, I say if he doesn't go to the Braves, it's going to come down to who wants to give him a bigger contract, because I don't see the Dodgers going more than 2 years because they don't have to. So they're probably only going to offer him a 2-year deal. This is speculative. I mean, if somebody offers him a bigger contract, a 4-year deal, he might consider walking, and he might get that bigger contract from someone like the Braves.
Well, at 32,
Well, I
you're going to
mean,
be lucky to get more than 2 years.
Yeah, that's true.
all
All
right.
right, move
So the
on.
next guy, uh, this guy I loved watching this year. Name's Tyler O'Neill. The Red Sox just
Yeah, that's
traded
a good
for
guy.
him this past season. Played 100. He only played 113 games, and he still hit 31 home runs.
Now, why is that? Why did
Uh,
he only play 113 games?
he was hurt this year. He had a few
Okay.
injuries. So Tyler O'Neill, Fenway, has clearly done well. I mean, 31 home runs in 113 games. That's very few guys in the league do that. So I think Tyler likes Fenway. I think he likes Boston. I think he stays in Boston.
I agree.
I think 847 OPS is better than the last two guys we talked about. He only
Yeah,
played 113 games. So I think Tyler O'Neill signs 2-3 year deal, like we were talking about Teoscar. I think he signs a 2-3 year deal to come back to Boston. What are your guys' thoughts?
I agree with you. I think he's going to stay in Boston. It's unfortunate. Hopefully, these are injuries that don't affect him this coming year, and he'll be fine.
A 2-time Gold Glove winner, and he did great for the Red Sox this year. But it's only, second time he's had more than 100 games in a season, so, he keeps getting his little injuries. But I think that it's a really good fit for him there. I agree. I think the Red Sox sign him too. Either a 2 or 3 year deal.
I would love to see him healthy for a full season at Fenway. I mean, 31 home runs, 113 games. Would love to see what that final total would be.
Yes, yeah.
All right,
He's very strong. The ball pops off his bat.
not quoting Moneyball here, but okay.
He's got a baseball body.
Those tight pants he wears, yes.
Moving on.
All right, Jerickson Profar. Jerickson Profar.
I'm going to tell you what,
So
in looking
MLB,
through the free agencies, I'm amazed at how many Padres and Mets are up for free agency this year.
yeah, they got both of them either going to lose a lot or gain a lot this offseason.
Exactly.
There's no in between.
Exactly.
For Profar, E.com said the potential fits were Giants, Padres, Phillies. I'll start off with you. What do you think's going to happen with Profar?
I think he's going to stay right there. San Diego is still a team that's still trying to figure out exactly where they're at and what they're doing and who they need and who they don't need. And I mean, he played 158 games, which is really good. That's a good amount of games. And so I think they like him. And he's not a home run guy, and that's okay. But he's a 280 average, so I'll take that every day. If I could have 5 players that did that, you'd have a good winning team. I think he stays there.
I agree with that as well. I don't think he's leaving San Diego. I think he likes it there. I think he wants to stay. Have him staying in San Diego. That outfield is really good. Profar, Merrill, and Tatis have a really good outfield. Yeah, I don't think he's leaving. Sir, what are your thoughts?
He's made his first All-Star game this year for the Padres. He certainly likes it there. It seemed to be a good fit with many, like you just said, they have a lot of free agents. I think, if a lot of players leave, they're going to try to keep him there. But I don't think they sign him long-term deal on him, though. Maybe another, 1 year, 1 or 2 years. And if somebody offers him more, he might walk.
Yeah, I can see that. I see him signing 1-2 year deal as well. Probably closer to 1, I think, because I think he's coming off of a 1-year extension, if I'm not mistaken. And that was for $2.5 million. He's getting a lot more than that in this free agency. But I still think he goes back to San Diego. If someone wants to offer him a long-term deal, I do think go for that. I'll think he'll go for years over winning. But I think Jerickson Profar, it stays a Padre.
I just want to look up something on this. Hold on one sec. Before we move on to the next guy, curious about something here.
Well, the next 6 through 10 are pretty low on the spectrum as far as where they might even end up anyway.
I mean, he kind of had This past season with San Diego, actually, looking at his numbers for the last 4 or 5 years, Jurickson Profar, his best years are with San Diego. He seems to play really well there. Well, I mean, best years. He played a little bit in 2023 for them. He played mostly, and this is the strange thing, and this is what I kind of thought, and this is why I wanted to look this up. He played in Colorado, had a 236 batting average in Colorado. I mean, I guess, coming to the Padres seemed to be a great fit for him. So I think if the Padres offer him a decent contract, he stays and takes what he can because it worked out well for him there. But that's all I got on it.
I agree he's in San Diego. I think the two guys left to talk about would be Jock Peterson and JD Martinez. I think Jock could make a reunion with LA, go back to the Dodgers, find a spot for him. I mean, 132 games, 23 home runs, a 908 OPS. I mean, no one's not going to want that on the team, but he is a platoon guy. He's a lefty, faces righties. I like him going back to the Dodgers and trying to get a ring with the Dodgers. That's my opinion. You guys?
The only reason why I don't see that is because he's used as a DH a lot, and they've already got a good DH in Otani. That's the only reason why I would say no.
Have anywhere that you think he's going to go?
No, not really.
Insights from Paul.
No, seriously, I don't. I don't know who needs a DH at that level of him. But that's the only reason why I would say no against LA. That's all. That's all I was saying. I wouldn't say otherwise.
Sir?
Well, I agree with Paul on that. I mean, the reunion sounds great and nostalgic and all. I don't think that they're going to do it, though. They're trying for big guns, and where are they going to play him? Boy, I don't know. I think he's going to get signed somewhere, obviously, but is he going to go to L.A.? I don't think he's going to go to L.A. Let me just see what we got here.
Another idea that I have for Jock, and this is both for Jock and JD Martinez. Another possibility I see for both of those guys is them signing with teams who aren't contenders, signing 1-year deals and getting traded at the deadline.
I can see that, definitely.
Yeah, I could see that with Jock Peterson, not so much with JD Martinez.
You see JD ended up.
JD.
Don't forget JD's age here. He's 37 years old.
Yeah, maybe that is only 1 year worthy.
Two tops.
Yeah.
He is on the decline of his career. He only had a 726 OPS this last year. I do think he only gets a 1-year deal.
And he's going to sign late because
not need him back. They want him gone. They need him gone.
I think he replaces Jock in Arizona because I don't think Jock's going back.
Wow, him replacing Jock. That's interesting.
I think they need a better bat than both of those guys.
I don't disagree with you there, but the season Arizona had after making it to the World Series the year before, I don't think many people are even looking to go there.
Yeah, I agree with that. They flatlined big time. Where all has Martinez been in his career?
How much more time do we have?
Yeah, really. That's just it. Has he been with Arizona before? Was my question.
He has. He has been with Arizona before.
Yeah, I thought he had been there.
Detroit,
before.
Arizona, Boston, now the Mets. Those are the ones that come to mind. I don't know if he's been anywhere else besides those four.
So I don't know. I think both of these guys are sort of up in the air where they could be. Who needs an extra bat? Because I don't see
early March signings.
Yeah, JD Martinez, Houston, Detroit, Boston, LA, Mets. His best years clearly with Boston. I mean, he's a very technical hitter. His approach to his at bats are fantastic. I mean, he knows how to break down the strike zone. I mean, he's a thinker up there. But again, his age. I don't think the Mets re-sign him. They've got other ideas,
right?
On who they want to fill those shoes. The 235 batting average this year is not normal for him. I think in a better situation he'll do just fine. He'll be back up to his high 200s, 275 ish.
Well, I hate to say this, 55 years old, but 37, you're a grandpa in the dugout.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Arizona might be the spot for him, actually.
Arizona, or like I said, a team who's rebuilding and wants to get something at the deadline.
What about the
Chicago was
A's?
Miami Marlins.
The Oakland A's.
I
they
don't
won't be
think you could even
playing
say
in their
Oakland
own.
anymore.
Yeah, you can't say
Oh,
anything.
wait.
They're going to be playing in somebody else's ball field the whole time.
Oh, man. Yeah,
No, I think they're playing in a minor league park.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah.
embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
Well,
Alrighty, well, I think that wraps it up for
yeah.
episode 2. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you again soon. Please
Send comments and questions.
send comments and questions to both on YouTube and as well as on Instagram and TikTok as well.
Comment below.
Thanks, guys.
Alrighty, I'm Screw out.